Hello, gorgeous, and a warm welcome to Accepting the Path of an Empath. I'm Aline, your host. I'm an empath, a channel, a guide, a mentor, and a coach, and I love to see highly sensitive people in all walks of life flourish. In this episode, we're going to be diving into disconnecting to reconnect. So grab yourself a cup of tea, get yourself cozy, and let's dive in. Welcome to Accepting, where I guide you to accept all aspects of your beautiful self, embrace your truth, and live your life that way. Hello, gorgeous, and a warm welcome to this week's episode. For those of you who are listening, I'm currently laughing because I'm looking down at one of my beautiful cats who decided to be on my lap for this entire episode. So I'm currently looking down and you can just see her ear popping up, and you will feel her energy, and her purring is against my solar plexus at the moment, which is beautiful. And it's very apt for today because we are talking about disconnecting to reconnect. And in this ever-changing world of technology, there's just constant change going on. And what I would like to cover in this episode is how you can really look after yourself with change, and how you can really look after yourself being on technology, and how, if you get to burnout, how you can identify that, and you can recognize intuition over fear when you're in those moments of you can't take anymore. Okay? So first of all, I have just come back from a month of being off social media. There were still podcasts, there were still conversations. I didn't disappear from the world. I didn't go off grid. I stopped being on all social media channels, and I also switched off my WhatsApp. And to be perfectly honest, the situation that happened made me so burnt out, if you like, that the first 2 weeks, there were the podcasts that went up were pre-recorded. They weren't ones from this year even, because I had to really, really, really look after myself. And when I am recording, when I am channeling, when I'm in this moment, I want to show up in the best way. And the best way I can show up is when I'm grounded, and I'm centered, and I'm calm, and I'm open, and I'm grateful. And hopefully you will feel my energy in this capacity as you listen and as you watch. So for me, what happened was I woke up on April the 4th. Instead of doing my gratitude processes, instead of gently coming into my day, doing all that I do in the morning, I had the first thought in my head. And instead of saying, oh, it's just a thought, or thank you very much, I'll come back to you later, I followed it. And that thought was, what am I going to post on social media? And then that thought started bouncing to other thoughts and other thoughts and other thoughts of, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And then there was a stop moment. And those of you who know the stop process, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't know the stop process, it is in these episodes. So there was a stop moment, and my intuition, my inner family, if you like, just said, you need a break. You can't go on like this. So what I then did was I started really feeling into it. And was this just a fear aspect in terms of I'm not going to show up because I'm scared to? Or was this actually all of my bodies just need to take a step back? And everybody, the world will still go on for a month if I'm not on YouTube, if I'm not on Instagram, if I'm not on TikTok, if I'm not on Facebook. The world still goes on. And actually we were on YouTube because that's where the podcasts are. Anyway, you get my gist. You get my drift. So it was really, really important in that moment that I decided enough is enough. Now, I have many, many tools to work with, and I'm really grateful that I have so many tools to work with, tools that have been downloaded that I share with you, tools that when I started this journey 9 years ago would have really helped me. So what had happened was, because I had so much going on, instead of being in the space of I'm going at my own rhythm, and I've got a whole episode on this, I was out of my rhythm. I was jumping from one thing to another instead of flowing from one thing to another. And once I got myself into my parasympathetic state, after I had the spiraling thoughts, it was, you need a proper break, a complete break, because I have some beautiful projects that are coming out. And in this time, what it has allowed me to do is I've created some beautiful things for you. There's something coming out in May, and there's something coming out in June, which I will get into at the end. And what this allowed me to do was to be in my complete creative process. It allowed me to have complete boundaries. It allowed me to take space for myself instead of, and I've spoken about this before, instead of, even though I don't have the notifications on my phone, I'm just quickly checking if there's any messages or that anybody's okay. And equally, we can do that on social media as well, on the messenger thing. So it was an absolute game changer for me. And I'm not giving you this episode and saying, right, cut yourself off completely. I'm giving you the example of what happened to me. And if it resonates, and you are at that point where enough is enough, I would highly, highly, highly invite you, my gorgeous, to have a really good look into what is going on. Has there been any situations where you've not been in your rhythm? Have you been jumping into things rather than flowing into things? And a great way to do that is to pick up your pen and paper and journal, my gorgeous. Just write that. How have I been showing up? Have I been in my rhythm? And then you're going to start feeling into your intuition and getting those answers. Now, if you're in that capacity and you're okay to do that, brilliant. If you are at the stage of you're completely fractious, you're running around like a blue-bottomed fly, and you don't quite know, you're forgetting things, you're trying to do a million different things at once, and then you're numbing yourself in whatever capacity that may be, whether that may be alcohol, maybe that may be TV, maybe that may be food. I would really invite you, my gorgeous, just to really take a step back and start looking after yourself. And this is a no judgment zone. This is an absolute no judgment zone. I know if I start binge watching something, that's the way I used to numb myself. And that is my little alarm to myself, what's going on. So if this is resonating with you, there's a reason you're listening to this. Please, please take care of yourself. So if you're at that point and you're fractious and you don't know what to do, just reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody who knows you. Reach out to somebody who's really, really got your back. And if there is somebody out there who you don't think anybody has your back, reach out to me, please. And I mean that. Reach out to me. If you feel like you're absolutely on the floor, reach out to me. If there's any moments as well and you're feeling very, very low, there are phone lines. You can speak to somebody immediately. Remember, there are phone lines to help you. And for some reason, this is coming in really strongly for me to talk to you about. And it's so important that we look after ourselves before we start looking after everybody else. So first of all, really check in with yourself. And it's good to do this every day. Where am I at the moment? If you are at the point, and again, no judgment, where you are at the end of your tether, then really take a step back and look after yourself. And if you have supportive people around you, wonderful. Speak to them. Say to them, I need to take a step back. So when you're going into the decision of, I need to take some time, really feel into your body, into your system, because it might just be a day. It might just be 2 days, 3 days. It might be a week. It might be, my gorgeous, as it was for me, that I had all these beautiful creative projects in here, in my head, in my heart, and they were going by the wayside because I was focusing on social media and this and that. And the next thing, I was focusing on the outside rather than the inside. And as much as the tools that I had and I have, we're human. We're human. So if you are at that point and you are feeling something doesn't feel right with me, just have a really, really good check on yourself, okay? So the second thing I would like to talk to you about is when we disconnect to reconnect, it's looking at what are those triggers. So it might not be social media for you. It might not be WhatsApp for you. I'm just giving you my examples. There may be something in your life where you are giving more time to than to yourself and to your detriment. So, my gorgeous, I would invite you to look at my free healthy boundary checklist for empaths, and it gives you, it's a flowchart, and it gives you a question. So if people are asking for your help, you can go through the checklist and decide, does that feel right for you at the moment? And if you're at a point where you are so exhausted from helping everybody else, people will understand. If you really speak to them honestly and say, I have to look after myself at the moment. I'm not going to be available at the end of the phone. I'm not going to be available for X amount of days, weeks, whenever it is. If you speak to them and you just say that from your heart, those who have got your back will absolutely understand. And if there's those who don't understand because no judgment, they're used to you showing up for them constantly, there's a way that we can do this without causing conflict or argument. You can say, it's really not helping you, me doing this, and this for you, when you're perfectly capable of doing that yourself. And that is where the healthy boundary checklist comes in. Because if there's somebody else that can help them, you encourage them to look elsewhere. If they can do whatever you're helping them with themselves, you encourage them to help themselves. Because let's be honest, as empaths, one of the questions that we can ask ourselves is, are people constantly asking for my help, or am I just jumping in to help everybody? That's a really good question to ask as well. And again, no judgment, because these are learned techniques. We're used to being in a certain way. And when everybody's feeling okay around us, when we've solved everybody's problems and they're so grateful and thank you very much, we feel appreciated. It's approval seeking. It's fawning. It's, oh, isn't she wonderful? Isn't Aline wonderful? She solved this for me. Oh, isn't she great? Oh, isn't she? The person, my gorgeous, who is the most important to give you your value is you. And sometimes we can forget that. So what I would say to you, if you're feeling, okay, I do need a break, what are people going to think of me? You definitely need a break. If you're feeling, I really need a break, but how are they going to do this, and the next thing without me? You do need a break. So it's just accepting where you are at the moment and saying, actually, really honestly, I just need some space. Because we can lose ourselves in other people's situations as well. We can really lose ourselves. And I speak from experience. I speak with love. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirts. We're all human. And fine example of what happened to me a month ago. I woke up and really needed to look after myself. So this is why I'm talking about this today. And the world is changing so much as well. So there's AI to the nth degree that's constantly changing. So not only are we living in a changing world where atmospheres change as we can walk from out the front door, or there's a car going past, or there's somebody walking past, or there's noise outside. That's always constant change. And we're dealing with that as empaths. And then we have, if we're online and there's social media and there's the dopamine trick of the likes and the comments and all the rest of it, we can get attached to that because it's approval seeking. So it's really important. I would suggest that you look into what is your relationship with social media. And if it's, I go on there, I I chat with my friends, and that's it, and that's great. If it's, I post something and then I check in 5 minutes, has anybody liked it? I post something and then I just see if there's a comment on it. I post something and nobody says anything, and then I think nobody likes me. It sounds ridiculous, I know. It's just being really honest with ourselves, though, because the way it's set up is dangerous, quite frankly. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful tool, social media, because we can connect with beautiful people all around the world when we use it wisely, when we use it with heart, when we use it with consciousness, when we use it in a detached way. When we allow ourselves, I think it's called doom scrolling, to look at something, and it's very clever again, to look at something, and then the algorithm thinks, oh, they like that, let me show them something else, and then we're doing this because there's things of interest coming up. We can lose hours and hours and hours, and we can disconnect from who we are because we are so involved in other people's things going on, and we're so involved in whatever is radiating out of our phones or the television or wherever we happen to be. So it's really, really important, I would suggest, to have a review, maybe a social media review, a TV review, whatever it is, or a helping friends and family review, helping work colleagues review, whatever it is that you're recognizing, actually, I'm putting a lot of energy over there. And it's so important as well that we don't blame anybody. This is a no blame zone, no judgment zone, because once we start blaming somebody, we're not taking accountability. And to take accountability, we have to accept that we're in this situation, however it looks. So when we start blaming people, we're not going to go anywhere. When we accept, okay, so that person is showing up and demanding my time because I showed up that way. They're not taking my energy, I'm giving it to them. So when we realize this and just have a little honest chat with ourselves, it's a game changer. It's all about accepting, my gorgeous. So when we are in a situation where, okay, something doesn't feel right, it's really important to have a really good, gentle look at ourselves. Not a hard look, a gentle look. Be compassionate with ourselves, be kind with ourselves, and recognize what is happening. So when we have identified where this is going on in our world, this is when we can start saying to ourselves, okay, instead of being on social media and doom scrolling for an hour a day, I'm going to go for a walk. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to get my pen and paper, switch off all technology, I'm just going to journal. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to phone a friend. Instead of have a chat and a laugh. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to meet a friend and we're going to go out for a coffee and have a really lovely time. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to work on that beautiful creative project that's been here for so long and just be in the moment and enjoy it. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to go on a guided journey. I'm going to meditate. Whatever works for you. Put some music on and dance. I'm going to sing. And I'm laughing for those of you who are listening because Cleo, my beautiful girl, has just put her paw on my heart again. She does this when she agrees. I love to sing. I love to do silly accents. And yeah, I love being silly. I love guided meditations, journeys. This is what I create. This is what I download for everybody. So yes, she's saying, yes, mummy, this is exactly right. So it's finding out, okay, so I take responsibility. I've created this situation. Let's change it. So we're not blocking ourselves off from everybody. And this is really important as well. When we disconnect to reconnect, yes, it's important if you would like to have a day of silence and contemplation or a couple of days, that's really beautiful. What I would say is notice if you continue doing that and you're not seeing anybody or contacting anybody, and you're not immersed in a creative process where it's important that you're all in, look at why are you hiding? If you realize and identify or where my energy is going to, where I'm allowing my energy to go to, where I'm not focusing on my needs, have conversations with those people, or send an email, or send a message, and they'll understand. And the people who really, really don't understand, once you have been very honest and very open, it may be time just to have a little break from them. And as difficult as and upsetting that can feel, some people are in our lives to teach us something. And when we get to the point where we've learned the lesson, we move on. They're no longer in our lives. We don't need them there to teach us that lesson. And then equally, they move on to whatever else they're supposed to be learning, or they stay where they are. What's really important is we're surrounding ourselves with people who accept us exactly as we are. We accept them exactly as they are, as long as there's no detrimental behavior, as long as there's no derogatory comments, remarks, as long as their fundamental way of being is kind and compassionate. We accept people how they are. We accept people's quirks. You know, we're not all Pollyanna. We're shade and light. So as we're disconnecting to reconnect, it's really important, and we're not putting ourselves up on a pedestal of all high and mighty, and I need my space, and you're this, you're that, stay away from me, you've been doing this to me, you're taking my energy, and I'm pure light. No. We are all shade and light. And putting ourselves honestly, because it's all about being truthful with ourselves, before we can really show up authentically and have honest conversations with other people, it starts with us. It's important that we are really, really honest with ourselves with kindness and compassion. As I said, and I've been completely honest with you, I identified, whereas before it was alcohol, my distraction, then it was food, and then it became TV, binge watching. So it's just noticing if there's something that is your way of relaxing and disconnecting, and it's getting more and more and more, you're drinking more or you're eating more, just notice that that's happening and accept that that's happening. And please don't be angry with yourself. Just go, oh, okay, so that situation happened. I felt exhausted and my body was so tired. It just tried to fuel and put as much food into my system as possible because I wasn't listening and wasn't looking after myself. Or that situation happened and I was so tired I had an extra 2 glasses of wine because my body understands that's the way I relax and it wanted more. So it's important that we notice where those habits are getting out of hand and being really kind and compassionate with ourselves and going, okay, I can see that's happening. What can I fill that space with? And also asking yourself, would it help me to speak to somebody who knows me or somebody who I resonate with, who has got my back? Okay, so I would really, really invite yourself to do that, my lovely. And then once you've made the decision to disconnect, game changer. Whether it's a day, a 2-day, whatever it is, all your bodies are going to thank you. Your mind, your soul, your body is all going to thank you because you are going on a self-discovery journey. You are listening to yourself. You are listening to your intuition. You're not fearfully jumping from one thing to the other. You're not fearfully showing up for everybody so you can be valued and have value and approval from everybody else. You're focusing on yourself and giving yourself value, my gorgeous. Because that is so important as we show up as empaths, and many empaths are here to help others. It's so important we show up in a calm and a grounded and a centered way to be able to help others. And if you like, we lead from example, and it's not lead in terms of sergeant major. It's just being honest. It's just being truthful. It's showing up in a completely authentic and honest way as exactly who you are, accepting yourself and inspiring other people to do the same. You know, that's how it works. It's not all like names up in lights and look at me. It's just living your life. So I hope that helped you, my gorgeous. I mentioned at the beginning I've created some really, really beautiful, beautiful offerings for you. And in that space that I took time away from myself, where I wasn't disconnected from the world, I was disconnected from WhatsApp and social media, I have created and downloaded, that's been in my soul, my heart, my body for years and years and years. I have created and downloaded the most beautiful chakra journey for you. And it's for you to listen to before you go to bed. It's a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous guided journey. And that's coming out on the 22nd of May. So if you would like to pre-order that, you would like more information about that, check out my website, and you can get some more information by sending me an application form, and then I'll put you on the wait list, and you'll be the first to know when it's available. Okay? The other project I'm working on is equally fabulous, and this is a little bit more involved. It's called the Karas method, and it is a toolkit for empaths. And this is everything that works for me. So there's guided journeys in there, meditations in there, there's affirmations in there, there's processes. So you've got all the tools in there that just to keep you balanced, centered, grounded, protecting your energy, noticing you're not giving that away, going into different situations. Everything is in there. What's also there is if you've got yourself to a burnout situation or a situation where you don't know who you are, you don't know where you are, there is also an emergency toolkit there that you can do in that moment to get you back. So that is coming out on the midsummer in June. On the 24th of June, that's going to be available. And I'm going to leave the link for the wait list for that, because everybody who is on that wait list will get 15% off the whole program for lifetime, and it is an absolute game changer. They both are. I've been working with both of them for years and years and years, and I've been told so many times, share them. And now I have the opportunity to do that because I took a step back. I took a month away from social media. I took a month off WhatsApp, and I really, really focused on my creativity and why I am here. And I invite you to do the same, my gorgeous. So sending you so much love. Here is to your self-acceptance, and here is to your self-empowerment. You've got this. Ho. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Accepting. Please do stay tuned for future episodes, and also subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If there's anything at all that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, please get in touch and let me know. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Acceptance Coach and on TikTok at Solution Union 99. And if you'd like to have any coaching at all, or you would like to discuss this, do book an expansion call. For now, I'm your host, Aline, and to your self-acceptance, gorgeous, with so much love.